back in a half here.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Well, welcome back, people. In this segment, what are we going to cover? We were covering the last segment about tribalism and racism and the NFL. Do you want to keep getting into that?
Well, I think we pretty much covered that. We also, covered the $6.5 trillion missing. So maybe we can segue into the fact that, everything is a war against the people, and that these trillions of dollars missing, they don't have to account for them, and they're used for this unconventional asymmetrical warfare against the people. And maybe we can get into some of the aspects of the asymmetric warfare, be it weather warfare, actual.
Let's film weather warfare while we're here.
Okay.
Since you mentioned it about all this weird weather we're having, and we touched on Louisiana a little bit about what they've done down there. I mean, that's totally weather warfare there. I mean, what better way to get rid of a populace than to drown them out and make their places uninhabitable? I mean, that's all part of Agenda 21, is to make the continental U.S. uninhabitable. Well, look at what they did to Africa, and AFRICOM did that, and all wiped out people. Talking about genocide. Look at Rwanda and Uganda and there. I mean, race-specific bioweapons they use and in the 80s and the 90s, and then they bring them over here where we got Zika and we got all this other shit that's coming out that is specifically for certain ethnicities, and they go, oh, this is natural. How can it be natural? I mean, it does. A natural pathogen hits everybody, not just specific genders and groups, and so it's all being weaponized, and we got the military-industrial complex to thank for that, and the Rothschild fiefdoms that are all around. So,
I agree 100%. When you're talking about Louisiana and all of the Zika scare, I think there could be, which obviously comes out of Fort Detrick and other testing laboratories of the United States Defense Department. It's a weapon. It's not a natural occurrence. You covered the fact that that this pops up right around the same time that Bill Gates and his genetically modified mosquitoes are
wild and
released into these areas where this Zika occurs.
And then they're going, oh, now we got a spray for the mosquitoes. It's like, but you just released all these mosquitoes, and now you're going to spray shit, and it's not for the mosquitoes, it's for the people. I mean, they're not spray. And then to get back, down in Florida, South America, where the Zika had started, that was a Rothschild fucking eugenics bullshit that they were basically throwing all this shit out there, and the mosquitoes grow in it, and then all of a sudden they've got all these magical properties from what? The fucking shit they were growing them in.
Exactly.
And people don't get this in their brain, and it's like, why is there a patent for Zika? Yeah. Oh, because it's a Rothschild fucking bioweapon.
And it's a moneymaker.
And yeah,
somebody's not going to want to release.
Well, Zika is almost. I'm likening Zika to the Ebola virus that happened over where it just all of a sudden, oh, Ebola, and then Zika. What happened to Ebola? Well, don't worry about it. Zika's the new one.
Swine flu, SARS,
H1N1, all that good
shit. The bird flu. Yeah.
It's constantly.
All creations of the United States Defense Department and the Israeli Mossad. And actually, I do want to cover a couple things because the end result of this massive weather warfare operation, which exacerbated these storms and guided them in Louisiana and other parts of the South, the outcome of this, when there's standing water and when there's cesspools everywhere, that's when these diseases are going to thrive. They did, but they didn't need to create new diseases because just from their weather warfare, all of these diseases are going to wipe out exactly what they wish to have these things wipe out. And we're talking about the spraying in Miami, the Zika warfare that's going on in Miami. The governor and many others in positions of political power, they have investment in these chemical agents that they're spraying on the people, allegedly to get rid of the mosquitoes, but it's really not working that well. And also, it's working to poison the people. So not only are they poisoning the people, but as you stated with the Zika patent, it's very important because everything that's being used, these guys who are in charge of the government knew that they were going to be used and also have financial interest in them being used. So the taxpayers are paying the leaders of government money to poison us. That's how the government works. We pay the government to poison and kill and discriminate and make our lives miserable. That's what we pay for. What we wish to pay for is a enforcement of the Constitution, which will result in the largest criminal court case in the history of modern humanity, and it will result in the conviction and execution of the leaders of the government. And we'll get into the specifics. Maybe some of you have seen the list. I have several hundred wrongdoers listed who are leaders of the institutions that control the United States government. I urge you to send in the names. By the time it's over, I'm guessing we'll have probably about 15 to 20,000, and these folks will be convicted and executed. And that's what we require. And this will be a lot more death than, say, the millions of women and children and innocent people who have died in Iraq, the millions of innocent people who have died in Afghanistan and Syria and Libya, and the millions of people who die as a result of these asymmetrical warfare tactics all over the world, including in the Americas, including in the United States of America. So when somebody hears, well, about 15,000 people who run the government and are the wealthiest individuals who control the government in every city, state, and town across the United States, I would say Switzerland, definitely the leadership of Israel must be executed, and we may have to have some sort of warfare against the state of Israel. But I think we can take care of it just through the militia tactics and through the courts. Obviously, the United Kingdom, the leadership needs to be tried, convicted, and executed. Obviously, Germany, tried, convicted, and executed. And by that point, the folks like us, the rightful rulers of Europe and the United States will have taken over, and we don't have to take it any further. But these things have to happen, and we've convicted them already. We go on international television, and we have the smoking gun by which these individuals who run our government are required to be convicted and executed for their treasonous crimes. And there's just really no other way. We keep saying it over and over again. If you're the police chief in a medium-sized town, you need to be executed for your treason. If you're the president of the United States, you need to be tried and convicted and executed of your treason. But above all, if you're Stanley Fischer, the vice president of the Federal Reserve banking system, you need to be arrested, tried, and convicted for treason. Janet Yellen, Jeff Lacker, president of the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank, all the chairs, all the presidents of the 12 Federal Reserve Bank, they're one on the list. And then number two will be the individuals which have the most assets of the Federal Reserve Bank in every city, state, and town across the country. That's the plan. No other plan will work. If anybody else says another plan, they're controlled opposition. That's the plan. The militia has said this over and over again. We've told the government we do this while we're armed, and we wish to make sure that this turns out right. We wish to participate in the firing squads. So that's just a moment of seriousness, and we can get back into the minutia of the reasons the law requires us to carry these actions out. So I just wanted to get that out.
It is stated in the Constitution pretty plainly what needs to be done. So
exactly, Article 3, Section 3.
And also in the Declaration of Independence, when government becomes tyrannical, it's time to get rid of it.
Yep.
So and it's time to get rid of it. It's more than been tyrannical for most of my life. I mean, I don't remember. All I remember is tyranny. Ever since I can remember. So, I just lost the thought there.
It's time. It's time now to do it, because you're right. It has been nothing but tyranny, and
it's getting worse. And
also, this is our time. We're in charge now. We're at the age where we have a lot of experience, more experience than our younger generation, and we have more energy, and our brain is working at a higher capacity than, say, the baby boomers now, which are still running our government. They have failed. Their generation has failed miserably. And the younger generation, they need to follow our lead or...
Yeah, forget the millennials.
Well,
forget the millennials, mate.
Yeah.
Nothing but the kinder care ninny state. They want everything given to them, and they don't want to do anything, and they're just special snowflakes. I mean,
then we'll give them what we decide we wish to give them.
Well, then we're turning right back into what we're getting rid of. So.
Well, that's right. Well, what do we wish to give them? We don't wish to give them tyranny. We don't wish to arrest them for smoking ganja.
No, that's a slippery slope. I don't. My brain ain't working.
Honestly, let's go down this slippery slope, because right now, the American public unquestioningly follows those who carry out war against them. We have no plan on carrying out war against anyone except for those who run the institutions, who are destroying the planet, and who are carrying out genocide against our people. That's it. So if anybody else fits into any other category, they'll definitely be safe. They'll definitely be able to sit on their asses and watch football. They'll definitely be able to chug beer.
Bread and circus works great for the masses.
Well, you know what? It's not our job to take that away. It's our job to take the power away from those who don't know anything about anything except for fantasy football stats and VMA music awards and stupid rap music and whatever else garbage is in the popular culture.
And following a CIA program called Pokemon.
Ah, yes. Those idiots. Give me a freaking break. That stuff is stupid. I remember...
No, it's actually very smart, because what they did, they get you to monitor your own damn place where you can't legally get in. The government can't legally get there, so they go, hey, play this game. Okay, I use my phone and record every damn thing in my house. And, well, wait a minute.
Oh.
So yeah.
It's I was saying, let me be more exact. Thanks for correcting me. The individuals who play Pokemon on their phone, if you're not a child, you're stupid. It's dumb. I remember I had a crap job as a manager of a Books A Million store, which, that's defunct over the years. It used to be a large book retailer.
I remember it. I used to go there.
And every Sunday was the worst freaking day when I worked there. I think it was around 99, 2000, because that maybe it was even 98, 99. That's when the throngs of Pokemon, the card Pokemon players, would come in and descend on every Books A Million. There was a weekly Pokemon tournament, and I thought that one was pretty bizarre, because I was in my early 20s at that point, and I thought that it was probably not a good idea for all of these adults and young adults to be associating on the same level with all of these children who were strangers. It seemed like some sort of honeypot for pedophiles and something. I never liked it. Always thought it was stupid. Never could make any sense out of what Pokemon meant, what the sense of it was, anything like that. I don't care, and it's even worse now that it's on the personal surveillance devices, as you said. I don't like it. It's all a government operation, and it's no good. Everything. Go out and walk in nature. Go plant a garden.
Yeah.
If you like sports, excellent. Stop watching sports. Go play basketball. Go bowling. Go do something rather than losing yourself in these government-run electronic devices, mind control devices, which put off signals and other things that are detrimental to one's own free will and also one's own health.
Well, they actually control people through that shit too. So it is a brainwash machine that you have to have your phone. You have to have this droid in your hand and look at it constantly, and it tells you what to do. Did you ever see Equilibrium?
I don't think so.
It was a great movie. It talked about that, where at one point during the day, there was like a thing that goes bing, and everybody has to take their shot. And then everybody is like, oh, and they had personal devices like this that told you the president would appear on this to tell you what to do, would speak to you personally. And we're almost there. I mean,
that sounds like this
thing gets messages sometimes. It's like, oh, there's a message that you can't get rid of that you have to see. It's like, whatever.
Sounds like the school system. You know,
it is. We've been indoctrinated into this system, mate. Ever since we were children, you gotta do what the teacher tells you. You gotta follow the class. You gotta follow the crowd. You have to do and be a collective Borg in the hive mind.
School is jail for children.
Well,
jail is
the prison. It's from the cradle to prison pipeline.
Yes.
They're training them to be prisoners. That's all we are. We're trained to be prisoners.
And the government is pushing forward. And individuals, I want to, maybe we can segue into Jesuit assassin Tim Kaine, because I want to point out some of his, and it's not just him, because it's a political movement. So people like him, politicians like him, they're always pushing forward this agenda of getting kids in school, they call it Head Start, earlier and earlier, so that the government
has 2 or 3 now.
It's 2 or 3. Sometimes there are babies that are being watched by these government Head Start programs, and a lot of it is, you know, the government is encouraging certain individuals to procreate and breed, and certain individuals not to do so. And the individuals they're encouraging to breed, they don't have the ability to raise their children. They don't have the intellectual capacity. They don't have the moral standing. They don't have the moral high ground. They just take these idiots who are willing to just hand their children, hand their most valuable assets over to the individuals. And these are the same individuals that aren't going to prevent something from happening, but are going to bitch the most after it happens, in exactly the way the government wants them to bitch. Not, hey, you fucked up my child, I'm going to go fucking take care of you and take you out myself. You killed my child, I'm going to kill you. Oh, no. You killed my child, I'm going to scream and cry on television. I'm going to allegedly forgive the individual immediately who's killed my child or my relative or my loved one. And it's just these warped senses of what happens. I'll tell you, you know, these cops who come after me with guns and stuff, as if you've seen it firsthand and as others have seen in videos, I will tell you, they go, oh, you got your dog with you. Aren't you worried that they're going to kill your dog? And I say, yes, that's the only thing I think about. You know, obviously the first thing I think about is they're going to kill me, and the thing I worry about the most is they're going to kill my dog. But Again, they know better than to do that, because any individual who does anything to my dog, they're going to get worse done to them by me. So I'll take care of it. You know, we're working on these individuals who have attacked me or attacked you, and, you know, we're not bitching to anyone else. We're working on taking care of these individuals ourselves. And when I say take care of, I want to be specific, because we can segue into the Richmond police officers snooping around my house, snooping around my car while I'm not there, of course, asking my neighbors questions, just like the Secret Service did back in 2013 around my house, but seemingly a little more aggressive than the Secret Service. Of course, the Secret Service has been following me around, popping out of alleys, you know, engaged in disarming me, holding my gun, all this other stuff. But lately, after we confronted the so-called police chief, Alfred Durham, the dumb pig, about his participation in abducting me, but not only abducting me and you know, violating all of my God-given rights and constitutional rights and violating the law, and going after someone who is a much higher rank, who has much more authority, who has much more grounds in this United States of America to say, I have standing and you have none, Alfred Durham. After they do that, after they threaten, after they attempt to kill, after they do all this, and when they're confronted about their staged, you know, mass shooting or staged drill shooting of a black guy or a white cop, when they get confronted that that's all made up, what do? After they threat, after they attack, they turn around and say, I'm the one that's threatening and attacking. And they come to the door and they harass and act as if I'm doing something wrong. That's not the case. The case is, as I explained to this cop when I said, Chief Alfred Durham of the Richmond Police, under the law, under the United States Constitution, the Constitution for the United States, which is the rule for the people's servants, not the people, that Chief Alfred Durham, Major Steve Drew, and anyone else who wears a white shirt of the Richmond Police Department, and every agent of the Department of Homeland Security must be executed for their crimes according to Article 3, Section 3 of Constitution for United States of America. They come knocking on my door, and when I say Durham must be executed, and it's because he has committed treason, they know exactly what I'm saying. They know I'm right. And they attempt to pretend like I'm talking about something else. And that's it. That's all I'm ever talking about. If I say, George Bush must be executed. Under the law, he must be executed according to Article 3, Section 3 of the United States Constitution, because he's carrying out war against the people. Bill Clinton must be executed. Jeff Flacker must be executed. Learn the law and carry it out. If you don't know it, shut up and read it. It's only 35 pages. If you graduated high school, you should be able to read it in one sitting.
Yeah.
And comprehend it.
Well, I'm all for holding them fucking accountable for their deeds, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we're talking about. We're not talking go out and kill them. We're talking hold them accountable, try them, convict them, and then execute them according to the law.
And the main reason for this is because they're going to wipe us all out if we do not. It's either us or them.
They're already doing that. They've been doing that for decades.
I just want to explain it in that kind of way, though, just so it can't be misconstrued. They're attempting to kill us. They have attempted, and when I say they, the Department of Homeland Security, the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the Richmond Police Department, the FBI, they have attempted to kill me through their agents and assets, and also numerous agents and assets working together. This has been verified and documented. There's nobody who's saying, Oh, wait a second, Chris. That can't exactly be true. No one's disputing this. No one can question it. It's caught on video camera. So,
Yeah.
what is the response? Well, since we have the law on our side and we have higher standing because we are the original Americans, when anything is written into the law, we say, hey, we'll say it can apply to anyone. It can apply to African Americans. It can apply to papists. It can apply to Muslims. It can apply to anyone. But in the law, they're not talking about all these things that we say it can apply to. It's only talking about us. Now we're saying through our largesse, yeah, hey, if you're African American, you can have the same rights as us. If you're a Muslim or if you're a papist, you can have the same rights as us.
If you're human, you have these rights.
But that's not what the Constitution, which is the law, stated. See what I'm saying there, though? I'm saying, yeah, I believe in same rights for all human beings. But that's not what this is intended for.
No, that's intended for our servants, not for the people. Right. That's what I'm saying. If you're human, you have all these rights.
And when they're talking about the people, they're not talking about African Americans. They're not talking about Catholics. They're not talking about Jews. They're not talking about Asians or Muslims. They're talking about European Protestant Americans. So we have standing over all in this country. And we say, hey, God gives us these rights. This is just, this just enumerates some of the people's God-given rights. But it's the law of the land because the United States was not intended to be anything else other than a European colony. That's it. I think that's pretty clear, and I think it's time we start addressing things, that being the fact, instead of what we have now, which is war against all European people, except for the Europeans who are glad and willing slaves to the Jews. Because this is, we're throwing out all the niceties here, folks. We're getting down to the brass tacks of what's really going on. And a lot of folks aren't going to like this. And this doesn't mean that we're not, over the years, when you and I have gone out and exposed the crimes of government, in many cases, if not most, usually they've been the crimes of government carried out by, both black and white government officials against so-called African Americans or black Americans. Now, we have put our lives on the line. We have risked our lives to expose these crimes carried out against individual African Americans by the government. So if anybody wants to say that this is not right or this isn't the way it's supposed to go, hey, we have risked our lives to make sure that these individuals like Daryl Beasley, Black Lives Matter didn't make a peep over Daryl Beasley. Malik Shabazz didn't visit Petersburg over Daryl Beasley, who was videotaped, killed by the Petersburg Police Department and Sheriff's Department on camera, African American, killed by whites and blacks. Who's made a big deal out of this? You and I have. Has Black Lives Matter? Has the NAACP?
Yeah, we know about those.
So if they say anything about what we're saying here, they can stick it right up in themselves. They can stick it right up their own asses because we stand for what's right no matter who's involved. If it's white cops versus black people, we'll always, if the white cop is wrong, we will every single time take the side of the black person wrong, but we take the side of the individual who has had the wrong carried out against them. We're against all wrongdoers, regardless of race, color, creed, or gender, or sexual identity, even on top of that. Now, it just so happens, hey, more white people are killed by cops than black people. Don't hear about it? Hey, oh well. Just so happens that black people are 8 times more likely to carry out a violent crime against white people than the other way around. Hey, those are just the facts. There's always exceptions to the rule. Doesn't make it right for white people to attack black people. And when it happens, we'll take the side of the victim over the wrongdoer every single time. But that's what's going on. It's race war agenda. This is a European country. The European culture has to be reinstated because the European culture is the American culture, and the culture is what's going on. Nothing but culture wars.
All right, that's the timer. So we will be back with another segment in a minute.
All right, peace.